First of all, welcome everyone to Yellow Squares Live London. My name is Helena Starr. I'm just going to run you through the order of tonight. First, we are going to hear a talk from the man himself, followed by a Q&A and some audience questions. So please, everyone, have some questions at the ready. But without further ado, please give a very, very warm welcome to Elijah.
It's the yellow square. Elijah's got a new yellow square. You seen the new yellow square? Let's talk about this yellow square. Car, it's the yellow square. An idea on a yellow square. You seen the new yellow square? Let's talk about this yellow square. It's the yellow square. Elijah's got a new yellow square. You seen the new
Summer 22 was sick.
Talk about this yellow square. Car, it's the yellow square.
Big up to Jams on this one. Thank you very much, bro.
You seen the new yellow square? Let's talk about
my entrance music, like.
One, enjoy creating, stop comparing. Everyone's got an opinion, don't fear it. Comparison is the thief of joy, and if you listen to the lawyers, you might lose your bearings. Pay attention, square two's deep. Don't feel like you're limited by P. When you're feeling creative, just remember the art is creating within your means. Now that brings me on to square three. Don't model your career on someone who started before the internet was invented, way back in 1983. Now send it out to the square four crew, tried and tested through and through. Before you slap that money in crypto, remember the biggest investment is you. Square five's making a lot of sense. Living the now but still think ahead. Remain open to new ideas cause nobody knows what's gonna come next. Now let's bring square six into the frame. You see the idea you're holding back, release it now. Stop sitting on game cause your plan assumes everything will stay the same. Anyway, moving on to square seven. This one's key if you're talking progression. Test the process, don't distrust it. How do you think good ideas develop? Making sense? Cool, safe. Let me show you man about square eight. When you go one-on-one with yourself, then being number one, don't hold no weight. Square 9 might hurt, but it's true, so we need to accept it first. See, when you come from the working class, you know working hard don't always work. I apologize, I don't want to sound dark, but Square 10's gonna put hope in your heart. Picture the world if black people had always been paid fairly for their art. We ain't there yet, there's a long waking, so Square 11 better make man think. Why are you wasting time on the timeline? Close the app, make the thing. Last but not least, Square number 12, collaborate more, mix and blend. If we all keep sharing and keep on pushing, then it all might just make sense in the end. It's the yellow square. Elijah's got a new yellow square. You seen the new yellow square? Let's talk about this yellow square. Car, it's the yellow square. An idea on a yellow square. You seen the new yellow square? Let's talk about this yellow square. It's the...
All right. Like, this whole thing is basically HD 4K 1080p. Thank you to everyone that's been supporting the thing for a year and some change. I'm going to give you a bit of a journey to how I got to this place in life, in squares, in this room with people. It's like bare love in the room. Thank you, Jams, as well, for the dub plate. That was done this week as well. Bro, the idea was swirling in my head for a month and some change. I'm like, I'm still a grand man at heart, you get me? Like, and that's why I'm holding the mic like this. They offered me one of the things that connects to your ear. I was like, nah, I want to feel like a grand MC today. Anyway, I got a clicker. My name's Elijah, by the way. I've been trying to define what I do for so long, and I'm giving up. I started out on the internet writing stuff in 2007 on a blog. This guy, Skepta, was on the radio on Rinse, and he said, this tune's Butters, very Butters. I was like, oh, that's a sick name for a blog. Bang, started it. And then I was DJing, buying records and stuff, but not playing out anywhere, collecting stuff. And then we'll get into that in a second. This word curator, I only found this word 5 or 6 years ago now, and I think I do that too in some of my work. Manager, artist manager with Will for Flavor D, Roll T, DJ Q, Swindle, the crew, get me? And then this one, am I there yet? Am I I don't even know if I can call myself an artist, but I think this is the art project. I think this is something in between, but it's taken me a while to even have the confidence to say I'm an artist, but I think, yeah, I'm just gonna run with it now. So or maybe all that journey is basically to get back to here in the first place. I think I was always an artist, but yeah, we'll get into that. Right, so this MSN message, yeah, to Skillium, 2007, 15 years ago this month, want to be a DJ on Crush Uni Radio, and Skillium, famous last words, you know what, I'd back that still. And I swear down, everything that's happened in life since has stemmed from that MSN conversation, that link up, us doing everything together. We joined Rinse in 2008 and, started playing a bunch of new producers. Believe it or not, Scratcher DVA is here. He emailed me and said, Rinse FM are looking for new grime DJs. There was a time when they couldn't find DJs. Believe it or not, there was a time. Anyway, we started this label in 2010 called Butters, and I did this tweet in 2010. I went uni for 4 years, and the only thing good that came out of it was Skillium, and I'm still true today. I love you wherever you are. Where is he? All right, safe. But no, real talk. He's like the back end of all of those people's organizations. Very kind person, made time for everyone, saved our asses during the pandemic, and doesn't get like the praise or the thing because I'm out here just on stage by myself. But not possible without Skillium. So yeah, we started Butters together in 2010 as a label. First person we linked up with was Royalty, who's here. Became a great friend. We met on Grime Forum, believe it or not, and yeah, started rolling together. He was from Southampton, came up to London, and he's like my first proper friend from outside London. I was like, oh, what's it like out there? And again, the impact on my life of like getting to know him, understand him, his world and perspective, the way he thinks. Like Butters it started off as me and Skillium, then it became Swindle, Flavor, Q, Champion, all these people that we started releasing and like connecting with like all around the world. So I'm just gonna go through a few of the pictures just to give a bit of context. This one, yeah, I know there's some people that used to go to those raves and cable that we used to do, yeah. Anyway, this set, yeah, is Swindle, Joker, another legendary producer, and then my mentors that don't know my day, my mentors, Jamie and Skepta, on set. And that day, I swear, that was 9 years ago, and it was like genuinely one of the best days of my life. Japan, this was in 2018. Again, my uncle's here. We came. Yep. He came with us. A bunch of family. Mark, Terrell, Dane, all these people that I've been rolling with from day one came with us to see what it was like. Grime in Japan. It's a real thing. It was happening, popping. Just super vibes. Then these three. I could do a whole lecture on Flavor D, but Flavor D, DJ Q, Roti, DJ Q, Flavor D, them linking up and kind of taking over the whole country made me understand England better. Like they just, I don't know, man, super energy, super trio, stars. And then just to make it clear, yeah, this is a bit bold, but the reason why I put on the Brazilian grime film at the start is because during the pandemic and just before, they was keeping that energy, the MC and the radio sets and things that are new to me, and it super inspired me. So I linked up with them and we released a vinyl of their records. It's the first like Brazilian grime record on vinyl, and the response that we got from the community out there was it was sick. And I met Cecilia the other day, and it was like again super inspiring. That he's a cool dude as well. And yeah, and now I just think I was gonna do this in 2020 because I felt like we set all the aims, we kind of done them, and I want to make space for new things. So while I'm here today, I can say Butters was the label. 15 years of work, all the people, all the crew, like it's all love all the time. I'm gonna continue making new stuff, but that formation is complete. So I'm happy with that. Now, so alongside like me doing Butters and trying to work out all this stuff, I had no music industry experience. That might be obvious to some of you. I was just doing stuff like make, share, figure out ways to do it. And as I was going, I was just tweeting at the same time. Who knows this? What's that? Like asking questions constantly. And it became like my medium. I was like, okay, let me put out all these ideas and see what comes back. And this, like Twitter has been like the thing that's magnetized like interesting people, opportunities, way broader than like say DJing in clubs or releasing records. And just from putting my thoughts out there. and I've had a lot of like real deep conversations and interactions with people on there. And then like this happened. I linked up with this organization called Lighthouse in Brighton, and we did a bunch of projects. And I had to find this story that I did, and it was like it was like a messy period, but I was doing so much stuff. I was like managing TQD, running around, doing DJ sets with like Kano, and touring the world, and then coming back to Lighthouse on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, running art projects. Like we went to the Large Hadron Collider in CERN in Switzerland, all this mad stuff. And then at the same time, I was like coming back on the weekend. I was like, all right, cool. What's the new grime at? What's the thing? I was like, yeah, it was mind blowing. And I guess there was this statement in like 2018. So this is like a long journey of being a bit like, what am I doing? Like what? I literally have no idea what I'm doing at this point. I was DJing, managing the culture, diversity, panels, music projects. I don't know. There was so much going on. And then I did a set with Jamie, again, my mentor, and I got this comment, and I swear, all of us should leave better comments on work that's out there. Comments have changed my life, I swear down. There's been people, I don't know who Tam Shakir is, but so much love to you. And I was like, this is who I am. I'm the guy that, it says, a man pulled out Street Fighter original soundtracks and jazz pieces in a gram set. Like, bro, this is mad unorthodox, but pure grease. And I was like, that's been like something that people have said to me in life in different ways. They're like, you're a bit mad, like what's going on here? I was like, okay, let me run with that. And let's see where it goes. Right, then this happened. Obviously 2020 was a bad year. And again, I was on Twitter I wasn't chilling, I was pretty mad. But this happened, this Black Square incident and all of that stuff happened. And this was like my creative wall. That was like I don't have any creative juice left. I was tired. I was like confused. I don't know what was going on next. I was like pretty down. Obviously, we all were as a nation, collective, people, world even. And then I saw this and the discourse around it just made me angry. And that made me like rage quit social media basically. So I deleted Twitter, deleted Instagram, and I didn't know this, but it deletes your profile after 30 days. So I completely forgot. Went back to Twitter in August and it was gone. Like all my followers that I built up. I was like, And then I just logged in, got the same handle back. And I thought this is a good opportunity to actually start again, start from scratch. And it was quite therapeutic in a way. I didn't have anything to share yet because I was still in a kind of creative rut, low confidence, wasn't going outside. Yeah, it was peak 2020, winter 2020. Like what was there to say that hadn't been said already? And yeah, the Black Square. Whew. And it's weird that the Black Square then became the Yellow Square. Like, it's like, yeah. So I did this post at the end of 2020. I'm just talking about the label and the kind of work I do. And I saved it just in my phone, just to stick to it. So it's over the next 10 years, success would look like releasing more music, doing more work in our local communities, being able to help more people get started in their creative journeys, and working with our friends we've been cut off around the world since the pandemic struck. We'll see what 2021 throws at us and go from there. And there's maybe like a couple that I ticked off there. And this was like the biggest like step change for me, like working with youth music. So big up the youth music crew, wherever you are. Yes, man, come on. That is like the most underwhelming way. We did some work out there, like. We just funded like another 35 young artists, but we funded over 100 so far, right? The Next Gen Fund. And the last 18 months working with them has been pure joy. But I've been learning so much about, the needs of the nation, like the mental health of the nation, the amount of work that people are putting in youth organizations, the funding cuts, the impact they're having. And again, it was just sparking my like, what can I do beyond like releasing an EP or something to help that? Do you know what I'm saying? Right. And I was tweeting all this kind of stuff, just what's in my head. And then Jubilee, the DJ, said to me, put it on Instagram. I was like, well, what's this got to do with Instagram? It's just for sandwiches and I don't know, beaches or I'm like, I'm not paying. Like, why am I going to like be on Instagram going, yeah, this the idea? I don't know. I couldn't figure out a way. And then I did like a little scribble, posted it, and got like maybe like 1 or 2 comments. And I thought, oh, interesting. And then and this thing, I said, it's so anti-algorithm, it might even bang. And I was like, all right, that's a new motto. Like, get so anti-algorithm. Anyway, and at the same time, Julie, who's here somewhere, Julie Adenuga, she was sitting in my garden, and she must have said daily about 5 times in about 2 minutes. She was talking about radio broadcasting. She used to be on Apple Music every day, on Rinse every day. She was talking about, presenters on television every day. I was like, why does this feel like she's saying something to me here? It was like hypnotizing me. And then I started posting the squares every day. So that was last July. A month in, do I look crazy posting like this? And I nearly gave up. That was it. That could have just been it there. I nearly went, nah, man, this is a bit mad. But she reaffirmed me, and obviously positive comments kept coming. So I was like, all right, there's something in this. And I still wasn't figuring out what exactly it would look like. So this was the first version, just on a piece of paper that I did and posted on Twitter. So this was the scene, whatever a scene is, and then just how it breaks off into many different things. Then I kind of did the yellow version. Once I got an iPad, I just bought an iPad, and then thought, yeah, I've got this free app called Procreate, made it, shared it. Obviously, my drawing's not very good, and it's I promised I'll get better, but it's hopefully you notice it gradually getting better. But here's the kicker. The idea was with me the whole time because I was doing that daily on Tumblr. I had a Elijah365.com, and I was posting around when I was traveling these little kind of poemish things like at peace here in Japan, and all these kind of cryptic things. I think I'm pretty much wearing the same clothes. It's like 2014. Yeah. So it's like an idea that's kind of come back to me and had done good things to me before. So again, I've just been tweeting this and Instagramming the yellow squares, and then again, it started magnetizing good things, and I just wanted to find ways to use the platform, the power, the infrastructure, the thing for good. So this is one of the ideas of having what electronic music magazines could be, for example. And then I didn't ask, Resident Advisor reached out and said, do you want to be our first ever guest editor? I was like, yeah, go on, let's do it. And we just pretty much did the ideas that I put out on Twitter. I didn't need to hoard them for myself. It's like, if someone else just did it, I'd have been happy because I'm a fan of electronic music. It'll be good stuff to read. And then this tweet, I'm petty, yeah. I saved this tweet from 2019, and this guy said, what happened to Elijah and Skillium? Bet Elijah's a professor at SOAS now. I was like, this dickhead. Who is he? I actually met him for the first time the other day. Anyway, and it was love. I was like, no, again, leaving a comment or something funny, or it spurred me. I was like, and then Casper Melville from SOAS reached out and asked me to do a guest lecture. So that's why I took that picture. And then they asked me to become honorary member of staff and contribute to their music department as well. So yeah, it's mad. And then on my birthday, I woke up and just started a YouTube channel. But I won't talk about that much. I thought, let me put this here just in case I'm out of breath or need some water or something. But I'm fine. And I told you my drawing will get better. Watch, next time I do something like this, it's long for you. Anyway, so I'm going to get into talking about the squares, how I landed on them. But this is the square number 1. We didn't put this in the dub jams. Is nothing I share should distract you from the pure joy you get from creating. A lot of the stuff I talk about is maybe sustainability and making a career out of it and kind of, ecosystems. And it's not to distract from just making stuff and just enjoying it. And sometimes people get it twisted, I'm talking you're ruining art, or social media is going to kill you. It's no, this is just, if you want to just make stuff and enjoy it, pure, that's the realest reason why we're all here. So let's focus on that, but these are things that might help along the way. So this is my first one. This is the first one I should have done if I thought of it. But the amount of conversations I've had with artists in the past year, and they've been like, I don't have the money to do this idea yet, so I'm not going to do anything. And it scares me. I'm like, nah, you have to just run with whatever you got. Like that's what grime was built on, jungle, drum bass, all these things. They started with reductionism, with just making with what you had. And now because everything is glossy, everything's 4K, everything's like you're comparing to like other people on Instagram with budgets and stuff. Run with whatever you've got in it. Like, look at this thing. This is like taking this to the extreme. Just black and yellow writing. Like, it doesn't have to be 4K to get it done. Most of us have got smartphones. Record the thing, put it up. This one. I should have taken this out. But yeah, real talk. Artists aren't content creators, and content creators like aren't artists pure. But there's some happy medium between the two. Like, if you want to be able to make people hear your work or see your work or feel it, you're gonna have to like play around with how you can make it sit in the infrastructure of Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or whatever it's gonna be. And I don't think that's a creative problem. It's an opportunity if you're able to find ways that it's comfortable for you doing it. I don't know any content creators that make content and then don't share it. Content creating is designed for sharing, but art, primarily should be for you, and then others if you want. This one. Social media is a canvas. Yeah, this is like the core thing behind the daily and the squares and all this stuff, is just making social media a better place for us all. If everyone hates it, but we're all here jamming, like, can't we make it better together? Like, can't we make the infrastructure of what this is? I don't think it's just toxic by design. At least in the artist community, we can share ideas, memes, works in progress, giving context to things, collaborations, ideas, videos, songs, like process, anything that is driving your creativity. A lot of the time, people will be like, nah, like, I'm not gonna communicate my idea in a way that's best to fit the thing. I'm like, why not? It's another place to play. Like, I feel like social media, like there's MP3, IRL, like this, clubs, social, vinyl, physical. I just see it as another kind of format, canvas, whatever you want to call it. Ha. So this is me, I guess. There isn't someone that I can be like, okay, I'm going to follow the trajectory of this person, because everything is not new, but you're combining different things like your interests and your personal tastes. So, and the internet is blowing that wide open. So a lot of the time, if someone, example I have with electronic music, people be like, I want to be like Aphex Twin. I'm like, Aphex Twin started 25 years ago. Like, you can't use that as an example. Or if you want to be a rapper, they would say, the rap artists are actually good at this. They'll say someone that's more recent and someone that's had like a hit in the last, 2-3 years, and they can see how they've got there. But when in electronic music, we tend to be like super nostalgic, but not looking forward. I'm like, there is a way to use all this stuff and have new creative career frontiers without thinking of the past too much. Same kind of idea. New music won't blow through old distribution. So just a short story, I saw like an artist say they bootlegged the song and put it on vinyl, and it's not coming back for 3 months. Then someone else bootlegged the song, put it up on on SoundCloud, and it's going off. I was like, look at that. So I'm not saying I'm not against vinyl or anti-vinyl or anything like that, but the speed of which ideas can be replicated these days, like if you're holding to like old formats, like it will like rip your face off. And just engage with it, engage with new stuff and find a way to like it. I didn't think I would ever like Instagram, but here I am. Yes. Every time you make for a platform you don't own, make for one you do. Okay. So I was on Rinse FM for 6 years. This is no shade to them, but I gave them 2 hours a week, every week for 300 shows. And if at that time I just did one other thing that was like that for myself, then I'd be a lot more further forward exploring another form of creativity. So make one for whoever you're with, NTS or whatever radio show, whatever it is, and then make another piece of content for your YouTube channel or for your other thing, your Twitch, or something that you personally own, or even if it's just for yourself, fine, but make sure you do, because don't let all your content or all your creativity or all your work, all your art, all your love all of that stuff live on someone else's platform. It's not healthy. This was, at the back end of a conversation with an artist, and a lot of the time, no one's ever happy with their numbers. This is the secret of the music industry right now. All the numbers are public. Everyone hates their numbers. They get 1 million plays, they think they should have got 2. They got 3, they should have got 6. If you got like low plays, you think the song's rubbish. And it's just not, it's not as simple as that. And a lot of the time, some of the songs that we get feedback on from a label or from artists that we're working with, they're like some of the lowest songs, like lowest played songs, right? There's someone that will come up to like Royalty or something, they'll be like, this song that you did in 2013 on that thing, and you'll be like, you heard that? There's like 45 plays or something. And just remember, like, everything that we're putting out there is like success in itself. Like, you got it off the computer, put it out there, and done that with your chest. Like, big up yourself, innit? Like, yes. And the same thing with this. So don't trust the process, test the process is like a lot of the time when we're releasing records, putting out stuff, that we follow like little formulas. They'll be like, oh, we're gonna Instagram this at 6 p.m. because, you know, that's when the algorithm is popping. It's like, well, if everyone knows that, then how is it going to be popping at 6 o'clock? Everyone knows all these secrets about Instagram. First of all, you should go and work there. And then second, like, it gets competed away. So test all these ideas, and when they don't work, figure out something different. And you have no way to prove it first, but that's the best thing. Like, all of this is experiments. And you're never going to stop making tunes just because one tune didn't work, I hope. Or you're never going to stop making art just because one thing didn't connect. So the ability and the strength to keep it moving, even if something doesn't go the way you think it is core. And that's, I think, when I'm assessing my own strength, is like the ability to just to keep going somehow. Obviously, it's team and that as well, because got strong backing. But yeah, keep going. Yes, 1 of 1, greater than number 1. This is like my favorite post, I think. It's like mad simple, because we always just remember the unique artists. We don't remember who was number 1 on March the 13th, 2014. It doesn't matter, like, long term. Maybe that week, yeah, it's important, it's sick. And obviously when good music gets to number 1, we're like, yeah, back it. But there is no best artist, there's no best musician, there's no best DJ. There's just people that are sick. And that's it. And you can't rank sick, I don't think. I don't know, right? I don't think so. Yes. How different would your music be if you knew it'd only get played once? Now, this is the era that we're living in. Sometimes I'll listen to an album and I'll be like, this album's sick. And then for whatever reason, I just don't listen to it again. It's just something else comes out. I'll start like listening to Lex Freedom podcast for 4 hours or whatever has changed my trajectory. And a lot of music now and stuff we're making is only going to be seen once. So should that change what you make? Not necessarily, but if you're mindful of, you know, the first impression might be the last, yeah, it's just something philosophical to think about. And I think about it, even in terms of these squares, most people that, you know, engage with it might have only seen it once ever. So not even just make it good, but yeah, make it fun. I had so much angry DJs fighting me about this. I know that, like, there's no angry DJs in here, like, because you wouldn't come to something like this. Anyway, more people DJing casually is good for music. Yeah, like, all DJing is creating and caring about your collection of music and putting it together. Like, the dance floor bit comes as well if you want, but the deep care of what you listen to me, is like the fundamental thing behind DJing. There's some people here that have got sick music in their stories all the time, but they're not DJs, but they care enough to like share little clips of like what they're listening to and all this kind of stuff. I notice it. I'm like, you listen to good music constantly, like you've got a DJ mind, but you're not like maybe applying it in a career DJ way, like book me, like, you know, I've got an agent, all this kind of stuff. Like, all of us here are probably DJs in some form or fashion. You wouldn't say get in a car and just listen to anything. Like, you do care what's coming into your system. And that's fundamentally what I think DJing is, you know what I'm saying? All right, Here. All right. I'm going to big up Fresh Start and Team Reaper because this is a terrible square. Not because what I'm saying is not true, it's because the way I said it was so dumb and not helpful. And I'm never going to delete any of them. I'll just leave them there. But this is an example to myself. Like, what is someone supposed to do with this that doesn't know it? Where do you go to like log the thing? Okay, I need to get an account. I could have been so much more helpful and I just didn't. And so it makes the post useless. So of course people reacted badly because it wasn't well written. Like, fix up, innit? Myself. Yeah, sometimes you just need that. Like, a lot of the time I put stuff out, obviously, like, it gets good feedback. But this was one of the ones where rightfully got roasted, you know what I'm saying? And let's keep that going. If something's pants, then let me know, innit? All right. In kind of like tradition of using like platform for promoting music that I like. And yeah, just vibes in general. We've been here for like an hour. Not heard that many tunes. I'm just gonna big up some artists that I like, and this is kind of what I want to do with the platform going forward as well. Is like I always say, why aren't DJs posting tunes? Why aren't DJs promoting what they're buying? Why is it like I'm just looking at pictures of you in a field? It's like, that's not interesting to me. Put some tunes on your page. Like, so this is Haen. It's a film that April and Tierney shot, and their crew, like the crew, the Volta crew, loved them. And they kind of brought me back to life last year when we did this little interview thing. And yeah, this is Haen, and this clip is sick.
That's it. That's it. Nice. And oh yeah, so you know that bound that crush on the 808. If you can make that sound as stinky as possible, yeah, but still within limits of it sounding musically nice. Yeah, let's go for that.
That's like as technical as you need to be. Stinky and musically nice. That is my vibe from day. Big up Haen all day. And this is Sharice, yeah. I'm a piano thing. I was listening the whole way of lockdown, and then I saw Sharice's Boiler Room. And I was like, no, I have to meet this person. Like Nah, seriously. I was like, I played the Boiler Room and I had to pull it up about 3 times. The thing was so nang. I was like, okay, this is, whatever's happening here is the future. And we were putting together the Butters lineup at Fabric in October. I was like, no, you have to play. And we put on this party with Simon in June. It was just like amazing, like proper amazing experience. And yeah, I love the amapiano vibe, and it's one of the things I can go out to and nothing feels nostalgic, or not, at least not nostalgic to me. So it feels like super fresh, again, like stinky but musically vibey. And yeah, Sharice is here in London, like playing shows and doing bits, up and coming DJ, sick. Yeah, big up. I think she's here. You there? Big up, man. Big up. Okay, this is Yao. This is social media as a canvas in a nutshell. Just all the kind of machines and just vibes that he's just shooting, and like just the Instagram's here, by the way. You got away. Sick. And I asked him to send the video. He's like, I'm coming. I was like, oh, sick. Where are you? You here? Yes, man. Yes. Big up. Innit? That's true though, innit? I actually asked this. Mad thing. But yeah, your Instagram just brings me bare joy. Like, I come onto the page, and I think I did a tweet about treating Instagram like a SoundCloud and just putting up tunes and vibes and giving us a sense of where you're at. And you do that. And I think you tweeted me back like, oh, no, I'm doing that, man. I was like, all right, cool. Followed, and I've just gradually just got into what you're doing. So yeah, maximum respect. Oh, man.
Wait, hold on. What is this? This place is disgusting. Oh my god, it's just you.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry. Listen, our dispenser had a little mix-up, but I can assure you, this should fix things.
Give me that bottle. I can't believe people live like this.
Yeah. There's Niall, Ashley, they're a painter, 3D artist, and I read something about them today saying they've only been painting for 2 years and doing the 3D for a year, I think. And I kind of discovered them through like the Web3 space, and I think they're in London, maybe they're here, I don't know. But yeah, amazing work. Again, just seeing on Instagram as well how they're using the real architecture and just doing something crazy different. Music's sick as well. And yeah, I find it super inspiring. Like 23 as well, mad. Yeah, this is like fundamental a lot of time, especially doing the kinds of stuff that we want to do. Know the difference between cannot be done and hasn't been done. A lot of time people say, oh no. And I'm like, are you saying no because you don't want to do it? Are you saying no because it can't be done? Are you saying no, it hasn't been done? Because there are 3 different kinds of no's. If you're saying a lot of the time when we were getting no's or we can't do this, we can't do that, I'm like, you're just saying it hasn't been done before. And that it's not going to stop us from doing the thing, innit? And a lot of the time, a lot of people say, oh, well, you can't play this show with that thing and that. They just start making up all these constructs in their head. I'm like, no, physically possible. We can organize ourselves. We can come to deals. We can make stuff happen. Like, remember, like, it's like cannot or hasn't. And a lot of the new dreams and new kind of ways of thinking about being an artist or being a person in this world, we don't have to think of like, oh, there's no one's done it before. And yeah, it's really core to the way I think about just what I'm gonna do next in life. So this tweet, I keep calling tweets. Square got like a kind of massive response, and it was because I saw an artist win an award, and they said, "See, this is what it takes, like hard work to get it. If you work hard, then you can get it." I'm like, I'm not sure, and I think we got to push back on this. Like, this is no hard feelings towards the artist, but it's like we've got to push back on. We can't work more hard most of the time. Do people? Oh, it's only 24 hours. What's the saying? The Molly thing. We've got the same 24 hours. Like we don't. Like we really don't, and we need to keep on pushing back on that. Like hard work doesn't always pay off, and sometimes you just have to drop things and move on to the next thing. Or there's gonna be a period of hard, gritty, greasy work that isn't like gonna pay off in any meaningful way apart from getting to the next stop. And like don't feel like not proud about that. I've seen that happen in life, where you have to just you have to grind to get to the next stop. We'll see like mums working single mum work hard every day. She didn't win no award. Do you know what I'm saying? It's true though. It's true. So big up mum obviously. and there's no awards for them things there. But they're paying off. Yeah, that one really kind of got me. All right, we'll keep this one short. Judge the diversity of a lineup by the division of money paid to artists, not by who is represented. I should have put not by who is represented alone. And yeah, I'm sick of seeing things where they're like, yes, man, we've got this amount of women, we've got this amount of black people, we've got this amount. I'm like, okay, but let's see the division behind the scenes. Like, let's open things up. Let's try and be as transparent as possible. I don't want to be in situations where I'm being used as the diversity. I'm like, I'm not your diverse person that you can just use as a statistic. Like we've helped some black boy. No, I want to make sure and push for, my peers, other people that are kind of at the same stage of their career as me. I'm like paying people well, like not just paying people like to be part of something. Going, you know what? I can break off a bit more of mine so you can eat good. Like and be straightforward about it and be honest and like make that part of like who you are. Like what otherwise what's the point of all this thing? There's like, that's something that really like bugs me. Like people are leaving it up to other people to sort it, when it's all of us, the artists, promoters, like everyone to sort it. Something the money thing is like so like deeply core to like my ability to even continue doing this. So I don't want to ignore it. Like more people in music, art, culture, whatever this is, just talk about money directly in an open way. Same kind of thread. In lockdown, I watched loads of music documentaries, like loads of classic album stuff, and it was so easy, like to watch um, all the like the big white bands and white artists. It was always like, not always, but a lot of the time, happy ending, or they got to this place and then this happened, and you see them at the end sitting with their kids in some mansion. And I was watching ones with the black artists, and they all like died young or got shot, or they got left with nothing. And imagine, I was thinking all the different examples of like if, say like if Sister Nancy got paid from day one, what would she have built? Would she have built more studios for more women to come through in dancehall? Probably. Like she wouldn't have just sat there being rich in Jamaica by herself, I don't think. I think that would have just changed the industry from day. And the same with like, I don't know, Sam Cooke, or the people that got ripped off in jungle, the people that got ripped off in garage, the people that got ripped off in grime. It's like, nah, like imagine if we had the resources or even the systems that we do now, like the things that we could have built over the last 50 years would be like epic. And again, if we're moving forward, like, just people getting paid fairly isn't so they can eat good or have a, I don't know, mansion or a BMW. It's so they can continue building the next thing. And that's what is, what Butters was and all these things. So we can continue building, opening up doors to other people. All right, last couple. Your plan assumes everything stays the same. So, yeah, obviously having these long-term plans, ideas, but like there's got to be like, a day-to-day to get there. And my friends in 2019 know this. Oh yes, man, my big album's coming out 2020. It's gonna change the world, man. April 2020, it's gonna shut down everything. It's like, actually, it doesn't. And trying to optimize for as soon as possible. If you make the tune, getting it out as fast as possible and speaking the truth as close to when you said it. Like if you said something in February, you might not even believe it in October, and that's completely fine. But if it comes out in March, great. Like it's going to be as close as possible. And I hate sitting on material. I hate like long lead times. I hate when artists will say it's like August and they told me the album's coming out on the 14th of December. I'm like, they tell me on the 13th then. Anyway, so I think this one we can all do together anyway. So after 3, because I think like this is like the fundamental, like obviously Instagram, Twitter, all this stuff is important, but there's a point in a day in life when I can't help you, no advice page or no TED talk, nothing can you just literally have to, 1, 2, 3, close the app, make the thing. So that's me. Like we can all talk together as well. I don't want to like make it like I've said a lot of stuff. So
I've got my laptop at the ready.
oh, that was mad still.
It was amazing. I mean, come on, D double. And we need another round of applause for it, I think. I guess, firstly, I just want to start by saying, and I think I probably speak on behalf of everyone who has been watching, listening, reading Yellow Squares over the past year, just a big thank you for doing so. Thank you for putting things online, because usually these conversations are offline, making them digestible and just making the information available. So big thank you for that. I want to speak today through the lens of someone who is, say, building a career, starting off and wanting to get more information, because I think there's probably a lot of creatives here who are just that too. And I think the first one I want to start with is building a team around you, and when you should bring other people in. What is your advice to those people who are thinking they're at that point in their journey?
They're usually really close. Like they're the person that is with you at your gigs, or the person that is maybe like the front row and understanding what you do at a deeper level. I was lucky because I went to university with Will, and I guess there was never like a person that wanted to be like part of the team. We just started, and then meeting Roti and Swindle. Like in this, I didn't talk about bars a lot, but you know, these artists, you know, Swindle, Flavor, Roti, Q, all these people are like balls of fire. Like there's like um, lightning striking 5 times in the same place. That's what Butters is like. That is luck and like a blessing, and it's something that I never wanted to kind of corrupt. That's why we didn't like sign other artists. Once we kind of worked out, like, oh my days, that this is magic. Like I wanted to still help people and find mechanisms to support, but I couldn't bring anyone else in at that point. But in terms of forming a team, you might see someone that has those skills, like even just that you're following on Instagram, and they might not recognize themselves as an artist manager yet, or a curator, or any of these words. They are just there and understanding and consuming and learning about it at the same time as you. You don't have to have like someone that is, you know, 20 years deep to make an impression in this thing. Our agent, Max, he works with like bare young managers, bare young artists, and it's not. Would you say that more experienced managers have better success? Like, not really, right? Yeah, growing together. Sorry.
Yeah. And that's probably another point. Becoming a manager, you are a manager. That's what you do now as well. Tell us about your journey into that too. I know you said it was from becoming friends with people, but what you learned on the way from being a manager too.
Yeah, the first couple of years of Butters, we were doing that. We were doing like, you know, the campaigns and putting up breaking artists and putting a lot of that work in, and then people were just self-managing, or and then managers started to come into our scene, and I was like, can I do a better job than this person, this random person that's just asked to be a manager? Maybe I can. And then we met Flavor D, and I was kind of just saw the potential and what her talent. I was like, I don't want anyone else to mess this up. I just want, I could see like 5 years, and I remember like when we met, I was like, oh, you're gonna mean something different to everyone else, like not like because you're kind of introverted and you had your hat down, and you wasn't like this person that was gonna be like, yeah, it's me, but the talent did that for you, and the music did that. So maybe now people think that you're like the like person, but it was never like that. And she made me want to become a manager. It was like Flavor that was first, and then you know like that went well. And Max, our agent, like, links up. Same, we had the same manager and agent the whole time. Never, yeah, she's never changed. So, but I mean, you're welcome to fire me, obviously, because we're 9 years in now. So, it's a very long tenure.
And going on to another subject, which I think I find a struggle, and I know we spoke about this recently, but is creating balance in what you do, the taking opportunities, but also having the ability and the art in saying no to things as well. What's your kind of take on that?
I think just remembering all these things are conversations. Like when you get an offer to do something, it rarely is just, we want you to do this, no questions, don't ask, don't like. If you're able to build relationships and have conversations with people, especially in the early days where you don't have someone doing it on your behalf, you can be like, you know what, this opportunity isn't right. This is maybe the idea of what I could do. Let's work on that instead, maybe further down the line. So you're not actually saying no a lot. You're more crafting things into things that you could say yes to in the future. And I found that like really helpful when I started to play shows myself. Um, I would talk to promoters after the show and be like, oh, you know, this went well, this didn't go well. Let's figure out how we can do this better next time. And a lot of those promoters, like, there's not a lot of new promoters, so a lot of the people, you know, because we've had that conversations over years. When I do get asked to do things, it's like, this is an Elijah thing. Like the Simon that asked me to come here, it's like, yeah, you should do that square thing in the building. And he's not gonna ask like another DJ person this. I hope not, anyway. So yeah.
And I guess maybe it's similar, but how you can add more strings to your bow. So by saying no, you allow space for room to be creative in a different sense. how important is it to have more than one string to your bow?
If it's your truth, then I think it's important. I think there's obviously some people that obviously just want to sit at home, make beats, curtains drawn, cool. But most people are not like that. Most people are, out. They've got friends. They play football. They do this. They're taking in all these influences. But then when it comes to putting out the music and sharing it, they strip those away because they don't think those are the conventions of that particular art form. Whereas like I take in everything and just apply it to me. So like today I had a entrance theme like I'm a wrestler or something, and or I'll have like some of the ideas I get from football, or some of the ideas I'll get from space things or whatever. Yeah, I'm super geeky, man. My YouTube recommendations are nutty, but yeah, you gotta you gotta like take those in and then filter it out in your own way, rather than saying, oh, this is what DJs do, this is what DJs say. Like I'm outside Berghain, let me take the picture. It's like I know there's a creative way to do that, and when I get booked there one day, I'm gonna like I've got the idea for my weird picture outside Berghain. Like I've got the idea.
What
it's
is
gonna
it?
happen. Huh?
What is
You'll
it?
see. You'll see. They need to book me first. That's the only place that I haven't. Well, it's not the only place, but it's one of those places I haven't been to yet. But yeah.
And being an artist who is someone who does it by themselves, how much, it goes back to the first question again, of how much should you do by yourself, and when should you look for like arts funds or applications, and how to write them, how to do it, when to do it? all that?
The best thing about funding for artists is not the money, is actually getting your ideas down on paper for the first time. Most people never write down their ideas. Most people, it's true. It's like you need to write down the idea, and then it will start making sense to you. If you show it to someone else, they'll be like, what does that mean? And just fully explaining and thinking things through to the end is like a good creative exercise for people to do. So that even if you're not applying for funding for anything, if you just made an arbitrary number, say whatever you need to get off the ground, say £1,000. If you're applying for £1,000 grant, it doesn't really exist, but you just had to say, this is what the project is going to be, plan it out and work out what you would put your budgets in. That's like a really good creative exercise. And then when something does come up, you can go, boom, youth music, next gen fund. All right, it's £2,500. This is how I can change it. This is my idea. This is what I've already been doing. Like, it's there already. Whereas a lot of people, you're always scrambling like to make your idea fit whatever's coming out and 2-week deadline and all this mad stuff. But having it written in general is probably like a lot more helpful.
Basically what you've been doing, writing down as you go.
Yes.
Keep things stored so that when the time does come.
Yeah, I've got ideas and stuff stacked. I was saying to Mum the other day that I deleted all these ideas out of my iPhone notes just to make space for new stuff. Like, just it will come up, and maybe if the idea is good as well, you'll remember it. You'll be like, I swear I was gonna like do a YouTube channel one day or something, or whatever it is. Like, you'll just it will find its way back to you, or someone else, and then you'll be like, damn, that's my idea they're doing.
And a square which you wrote recently, which kind of got a lot of conversation around it, was about the Red Bull Music Academy, and how we were talking about it and saying how amazing that model was, but you said, I wish the RBA model got copied by other brands. I'm interested in your thoughts in that, building a community. Do we need brands to invest in, or is there a possibility to build it up ourselves? What's your opinion on that?
Yes, this is all of them. We can have many solutions to what we're trying to solve. So yes, there's DIY, there's brand-funded things, there's collaborations, community groups, there's Arts Council funding, there's youth music, there's all these things, and they are collectively the solutions that we're looking for. Like, you don't have to have one inspire the other. My opinion on most brands, to be honest, is like, especially alcohol brands, is that they could be putting a lot more in than they take out. Like, they earn so much from the culture and bars and clubs, and I wish they were all putting in and doing active stuff in the way that Red Bull was. I don't have any like care for the drink or anything, but they're in the venues anyway, and we're spending our money, and I'd rather like little bits of that come back to us so we can continue creating. Otherwise, there's going to be nothing left.
Another square that I want to talk on is being able to ask questions and be asked a lot of questions has helped me more than advice. I was going to say, what is your advice for someone who's wanting to ask questions? But I feel like it's quite a British thing to, or maybe it's just a human thing, to feel awkward about asking those questions. Are you someone who has gone out and done that? Have you like sent people emails? What's your take on that? And talk more on that square.
Yeah. Maybe I don't mean like literally asking the question, but say like if you wanted to find out about Amapiano, don't DM Charisse. Just go to the rave, and all the questions should be answered for you. And if you have one, then ask a question. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I expose myself to a lot of art, music, clubs, concerts, and stuff. And then, like maybe when I ask a question, it's so deep that people want to respond. Whereas if you go, oh, like what is jazz? Well, it's like no one wants to answer that question. and I guess if someone, the kind of questions that most people ask will be like, how did you do that? Which is cool. But the best questions to ask generally are like, how would you do it now? Like if I told you how we started Butters, I said, oh, well, me and Will were working at M&S and we put 250 each, and it was 700 quid to print a 4-color vinyl. And we got there and they was like, what, it's 500 for 2 colors? I was like, black and yellow, there you go, 2 colors. Anyway, 5 bills. That's not helpful to anyone today because that's not a modern problem. Whereas if you said, how would you start a new label today, or like, then you'll get a better answer out of me or answer out of the person that you want to answer.
That goes on to the point of how the infrastructure of electronic music has changed and is working towards a world that no longer exists. That's what you've said before. How is it different? How can we adapt and how can we grow with it?
Like if I say one thing, that's just one of 1,000 different solutions again. So I'm careful on like proposing the thing, because then it's like, that's just seen as when we fix that, it's fixed. And then when it's not, there's so many different ways. And I've had this voice for a year. I'm aware of like my voice taking up space in certain places. So it's better that I just, when I see good ideas or things that I think are different that I wouldn't do, I like amplify them. So like doing like Sherelle's like beautiful workshop and all that kind of stuff, like amplify. Okay, this thing's going on, amplify. Whatever, Samuel Ross is doing this thing, but amplify it, like, and it not be like me saying everything. Like I don't have all the answers in that way. It might be like a cop out, but there's like loads of good minds in here, you know, doing stuff, active. Like I just organize this thing. That's the reason why I'm here. But it's not because I'm the only person with good ideas, you know.
Mm-hmm. But I think we spoke about like the costs rising and clubs shutting down and things like that. And it being a different setup now. I think you spoke about this recently. Do you want to speak on that too?
All right. So this is fundamentally how electronic music is different. So vinyl costs like 30 to 40% more to make. Then to ship it is more expensive. So if you pass on that cost to a customer, they'll be like, why is my vinyl £5 more? They would think that you're making more money. I'm like, no, you're actually not. So you already so you lose money on the physical. Boom, that's one part. If you run a club night and you raise the prices, people go, why are you raising the prices for? We've got no money. But every price has been raised, cost of living, all this stuff, inflation. It's happening to clubs same way. How's that going to work? Travel costs have risen. Like I used to play at this place, Soup Kitchen in Manchester, and it's like 200 cap club. I used to go up there on the train. Now the train is like 200 quid. So that's like, you know, a whole amount of tickets to sell just to get my train. Never mind a hotel and a fee if you want one. Like you just can't do those things anymore. And I don't think people realize this when they're coming into the industry. Like you might have to reverse engineer all this stuff yourself. Like how I look at things, like say like I could look at someone's tour list. Max knows this. I'll be like, okay, 750 cap, 53 cap, 650 cap, 1550 ahead, and I'll do the maths of it in my head. I'm like, man, they're gonna lose about 15 grand. And people don't realize this until they're actually doing it and they're on stage and they're like, damn, I'm singing this song like Yeah, I'll bring you flowers, whatever it's gonna be. And they're like, I'm losing money doing this thing. So you better enjoy it. And and it's mad. It's like, and that what industry wants to market that a lot of it doesn't function well? No one. Especially in the thing that brings people so much joy. But I deal with this every day, and people like I speak to promoters, and they'll be like, "Yeah, man, we lost like loads of money. We don't know if we can run next year." And then the DJs are like, "I had the best time ever." I'm like, "What's going on here?" Yeah, we just need to be all aware of like the back end of what's happening in our own scene industry.
And I kind of want to go to the audience now and
Yes.
get some questions from the people here. Hopefully, you've got some. We got a mic? Yes, we do. Has anyone got any questions for Elijah? Got one at the front.
Sweet.
So sorry, it's mad keen to be like at the front center of the room and be the first person with the question. But I thought I'd bite the bullet. Hi, I'm Charisse, a different Charisse. I wrote it down because I'm very dyslexic. How would you approach shifting an established artist's story or brand? It's coming kind of from my perspective because I've grown up in the UK jazz scene, and that's been absolutely amazing. But I wanted the skills of a jazz singer so that I could create the best soul music possible. And being cross-disciplinary or multifaceted is often presented back to me as a problem. But every time that's why I'm here, because just by example, you are, such a multifaceted person, cross-disciplinary person to protect your art. But the way that you presented it is so, it makes the light bulb in my brain go, I get it, without you needing to have a heavy description of that story. So I think there were 3 questions in there, but I'm trying to refine it down into what's your advice for simplifying a story that has a lot of depth?
I've sent you a lot of DMs, innit? Yeah. I'm 35, so my story that I've condensed into this thing is played out over like 15 something years. So sometimes when you're maybe looking at someone with a longer tenure, you're thinking they've got that story worked out, but you're actually joining the dots going backwards. Like, you don't do it forwards. You can't say I'm going to be this and that and that. And a lot of the time, that hasn't been done, cannot be done. People are going to say that because it hasn't been done. Like, just the ability to make and share at really low cost and try things out and experiment. And, even if you're building an audience that understands what your work is an experiment. It's a work in progress. And you're not perfect. You're human. Like, you're putting stuff out and trying things for the first time. Like, that is something that everyone's trying to do. And I think that resonates more than trying to say, oh, I'm a soul thing and you don't get it. And it makes things like antagonistic in a way. But I just think this is like really simple, but just making and sharing and the people that get it will generally magnetize to you, you know what I'm saying? Like the people that I was talking to on I don't know, Grind Forum or something might not get all this stuff now, but they're not in the room, so it doesn't matter. And the room changes as you grow as a person and as you figure who you are out and, the new versions of you, because it changes. I hope that helps.
Hi, thanks so much, Elijah, for what you're doing. First of all, I really appreciate it. I think we all appreciate it. You mentioned something on one of your posts where you're talking about being a mentor and having mentors that don't know that they are your mentors. And I think for me, and I'm sure I speak for everybody here, I think you're one of our mentors. And I thank you for what you're doing. So yeah, thank you for that. I wanted to ask, yeah, rightly so, yeah. I say that as someone that I make wildlife documentaries for a living, and I've had like creator's block for like ages, but seeing you do your thing inspires me. I wanted to ask, where do you maybe this is a bit of an ephemeral question, but where does it come from? What are you tapping into when you go through your creative processes?
Look, it's all of us because we're like literally. I was saying this to someone earlier on. It's like we're all of these things. Like there's bare people in this room. I'm bouncing off all the time. Like, and that was why the pandemic was so hard because I was locked down, cut off from everyone, and I didn't have ideas because I wasn't with anyone. I was not seeing people, and I get creative inspiration. But like even just when you share like your responses to some of my work, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it is. DJ Oblig shared some comment today, and I was like, oh yeah, I've got something similar going on for me. Like all that stuff is it's not me. It's like it's everyone, and I'm just like the saying it out loud. And like, it might sound a bit cheesy, but even like you see the way I feel about Hagen and all the artists that I shared is like it makes you want to make something. You know what I'm saying? And it double like come on, it makes you gassed in it. Like that's what it is. Maybe that is the thing, the creative inspiration. All the people in the room that have like inspired me. I've gone to their shows and it's been sick, or like I've grown up with them and they understand like even just on a basic level, just kindness. And mum allowed me to just do creative things as well. Like I wasn't married to like one discipline, so I've like done like football and taekwondo and skateboarding and like making games. 10 hours of PlayStation a day. Like I was doing so many different little creative things, copying radio sets off the radio, pirate radio sets on tapes, doing mad creative stuff from young. And like, cause I had that creative space to be able to do that and express it and go for it. Like I want that to be shared with other people. You know what I'm saying? Like when I finished uni, I was like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be like a journalist, which is like the writer part, a DJ, and then make stuff on the internet. Like that was like my description. And I think like that's kind of there's not like a role or a job title or something for that. So yeah, hopefully that helps. But it's definitely all of us, man. Hey.
Hello, Elijah.
Hey.
Thank you for everything. This has been amazing.
Mm-hmm. You're one of the people I'm talking about as well. This is Phoebe Collins James. Like I've been going to her art shows for time. We went college together, and she was out there as an artist putting on shows. Again, like you're inspired when you see people just from the ends doing stuff. You're like, okay, cool, I can do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah.
I also felt that when you were starting your hustle in the canteen.
Hey,
but my question for you is about your one. It was like your one and one post, and I guess I just wonder, like, maybe writing might be the answer, but like, how do you navigate or balance the sort of introspection of being with yourself and just really getting deep into like your inspiration and what you want, and then being responsive also to like inspiration outside, to changing media, to changing situations, to money, when it's there, when it's not there. Like, yeah, how do you, because often those things are happening simultaneously, right? And I wonder if you had any like rituals or strategies or things to like have those two things, handle them two things at once.
Yeah, I've always had will. So because I've had will the whole time, we speak about these things as we're going through them. Like something's not working, then I've never been alone, like as a creator in that way. So because we're speaking, like we speak all the time, like nearly every day. We're like we can see like a problem or something arising from 90 days out, and are just gradually trying to figure it out until you get there, and then hopefully it turns out all right. And because you say it out loud, even just to one person, I feel confident about saying it like on the internet. Whereas I think if I was just by myself, and I'd find that bit hard if I wasn't ever saying it out loud with people. So as much as possible, not to be like I'm talking about my art. It's how you're getting there, like talking about like why you're thinking about something with someone is really interesting because a lot of people are like, yeah, I feel the same thing. Like a lot of people might just feel the same in August 2022 for whatever reason. Even just the weekend, the carnival, it's like most of the people I know that went had a sick time, and that alone is going to create all this sick artwork and music and vibes. But you might never directly speak about it with someone again. They might never say, "Oh, actually, that was carnival that inspired that," or when we was hanging out and we had this conversation. So just saying as much of your creative thoughts, yeah, out loud as possible, and then it kind of just becomes real. Like, yeah. Is that helpful? Cool. Who else is there? Oh, I got one up there. So,
Hi. Yeah, that was. So following on from what the previous person said about like writer's block and that kind of thing, because there was one square you spoke about sort of just enjoying the beauty of creating in itself. But equally, I feel like creating can be quite like a brutal and sometimes very unforgiving process, right? And so like, I don't know if maybe other people can relate, but like for me, sometimes I'll not be able to be creative at all for like months at a time, and then make like 4 like bangers in like 2 weeks or something, you know, right? But I wanted to ask you, like, do you have any kind of advice on how you can kind of take like a creative process that you've been using for years, but view it from like a newer and different perspective to try and kind of rejuvenate that?
yeah. With writer's block first, I always think that comes from trying to make something good rather than trying to just make something. I think that the block is you're trying to make something good. Whereas like, if I try to make the squares good, like if I try to make the drawings, I'll still be there now trying to get the arrow straight and all of that stuff. So just getting it on the piece of paper first, and then is this crap? Yeah, cool. Like move on. But you've at least exercised the muscle. And then in terms of that changing the creative process, actually just learn something else completely. Even if it's not like directly tied to your art, because I like through lockdown I learned a lot of new skills. A lot of us have, or if you've had the time. So you build confidence in another space, and then you can approach the Ableton like a bad man, because you'll be like, actually, I learned about whatever neuroscience, Ableton, whatever. Like, I'll bad this up, or you might just be thinking about it differently just because of you've seen someone else's way they approach making a painting or something. Like, and that has helped me a lot with blocks. Like, I went for most of the pandemic. I didn't watch any DJ sets, none of that kind of music. But I didn't stop having ideas. Weirdly, but just because I was taken in from so many different spaces. So it's like, yeah, taking this idea from whatever SpaceX or something, and then how does that work in, Butters, or how does that work with Flavor D, or how does that work with this project? Yeah, I've got a tweet like this that was like, why can't we get like the grime sets on Spotify, but like Elon Musk can like land his rocket backwards? Like it's like two completely disconnected things. But I was like, nah, man, you lot are saying this is impossible when we're watching things that we didn't think were possible happen on the news or out there in the world daily. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it helps. I'll keep on saying hopefully it helps because I'm not sure if I'm helping.
Any other questions?
Elijah.
Hey.
Hey, Smuzz.
What's up, mate?
And thank you for this event. Honestly, it's been just a pleasure to attend and just to hear you speak on the stage. And also big up for the photo of the Large Hadron Collider. That's sick.
Bruh,
seriously.
that's what I'm saying. Like that.
That's seriously sick.
I see. I got gas. I got gas. You know, the other day I was like able to debunk something that was on BBC News because I have actually been to Large Hadron Collider. I was like, this is nonsense. Again, unconnected. The engagement on that tweet was 0. This is what I'm saying about who cares? Like,
you need to be ahead to know that one.
Yeah,
for sure.
sorry.
But yeah, so this is a bit of a deep question. It's not an easy answer, but I think you can answer it. And it's basically, so I read an article recently about how babies born today will, on average, live to the age of 100. But on average. And what that means is previous sort of milestones, like the age of 30 or 40, are going to be completely different in the future. They won't be considered a point where you're in middle age or you're past it, or essentially, you know, you need to start thinking about retirement. And where that applies is through the project I'm involved with, meeting a lot of artists who get worried about the 30 cutoff. They think, I'm done. Do you know what I mean? That's it. I've had my time. I had my 20s. I've had my time. And to be fair, it's completely unrealistic. You can't compare yourself to, let's say, you know, one of your posts. Don't compare yourself to stuff that happened pre-internet. Also, don't compare yourself to stuff that happened pre-Spotify, pre-Napster, because those people who were, let's say, 27 when they were, you know, done with their career, your Kurt Cobains, your Paul McCartneys, whoever were, they didn't have to basically pay 2/3 of their income on rent that we do in London, right? So my question is this: how do we change the conversation in the broader music landscape to say it's cool to be 30, it's cool to be 35, maybe it's even cool to be 40 and start releasing music?
Or have you started? Okay. Yeah, it is. I mean, look, in electronic music, I look at the headline DJs of electronic music are all, you know, above 40. So this idea that you should be somewhere or headlining or smashing it at a certain stage, obviously that some of them are legacy artists, but a lot of people that are breaking in their 30s and they're 32, 33, 34, 35, cracked it after 10 years or whatever it's going to be. And like, I guess artistically, it's more like you're trying to get to the next stage or just continue. My aunt who's here, she's making paintings all the time. She don't care, innit? We got Auntie Pauline. She's just keeping it moving. She don't care, man. Like, and I think this is good for all of us. I've seen this with the grime MCs, the rappers and stuff. Like, we need to have man rapping at 50. Like, who's gonna say like something to the youth? Who's gonna be a granddad rapping? Like, that should exist already, and it shouldn't be corny for that to happen. Like, I don't want to quote myself. No, I'm gonna. All right. In my like optimistic view of black music over the next decade, I said MCs are gonna make tunes like intergenerationally. So people that are born in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 10s, and the noughties, 5 decades in one tune. That can happen. That can happen today, which is kind of mad in itself. And that's the scene and the scenes and the whatever we're doing here, I want to happen in a way, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think like one thing that black music or like black media, it does focus on youth, but like hopefully in my next work I can stretch that further and further from first people starting out, 10 years old making bangers, all the way through to 8-year-old touching mic for the first time or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I would pick up one more person. This person called Dubplate Pearl. I was watching her sets on Vinyl Factory in lockdown. There was not many people I was watching, but I was watching her sets. Big her up, man. She was just sitting down and running rhythms. I was like, yes. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, we've got to like gradually really, big people up that are just starting now as well. Like starting at 35, starting at 40, starting at 50. Like even mum said that, you know, she used to draw back in the day. I was like, you used to draw? Yeah, all right, cool. Run the paintings and stuff now, innit? Like, I didn't even know. Like, I've always known my mum as just my mum, and that's it. That's like, but yeah, real talk. That wasn't a helpful answer, but that's what I think.
Hi, Lighter.
Hi. All right. This is who Close the App was Make the Ting was for. The Close the App Make the Ting was a response to you, and I just like you DM me on a Sunday.
I needed it.
And I was like, come off this thing, man, and go outside or make the thing. Or
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a radio show on Sundays now, so.
Bro.
Oh, no, so
So my question, I feel like I may have asked you before, but I want to ask about accountability. It's all well and good that like we create, we make, we have these difficult relationships with how we do those things, but we are part of a scene, as you said. People have hurt people in these scenes. How do we, in your opinion, in your expertise, I don't know, in just being in the scene for so long, how are we able to, say Wiley's name and not feel like you're swearing or whatever, like not condoning anything he's done, but it's like, how do we move in accountability while sort of keeping compassion at our centers? Thank you.
Yeah, first the artist has got to show accountability. That's a start, and a lot of the time people don't. And if they do, then depending on the severity of what's happened, there has to be like a path to forgiveness or acceptance. Otherwise, like not everyone's gonna be cancelled, but everyone is gonna be like just pariahs and just like it's just be just weird. And yeah, like you said, not speaking of certain people or that person's disappeared now. We're deleting that person at the archive. It's not comfortable. I don't have. This is another one of these things. I don't have a square on this. I haven't been able to like figure this one out. I don't know. I actually, yeah, that's my answer. I don't know, and I don't know everything, and I don't. Yeah, when things like this have been brought to me, I've treated every situation so differently. I couldn't have like a succinct answer. Like, did I know the person? Did I don't like them? Their tune's rubbish. You go away. There's so many different ways I've reacted to this kind of stuff that we're all trying to figure out solutions and to this. And yeah, a lot of things I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know.
Cool.
Always sober, always. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, what Phoebe's saying that like when I was putting on club nights and stuff, I said, if there's a problem, then I'll be about. Like I'm sober, just give me a nudge and like we'll deal with the situation. I guess that was before the call for Angelo and all that kind of stuff. It was a long time ago, and it did help in a lot of scenarios. And when we were doing the nights, me and Will, like you do feel like you're responsible for someone's safety and someone's life, and all the crazy stuff that we've seen happen in clubs over the years. Like I didn't want someone to come to something that I was doing and not even just not feel safe, but actually be unsafe. You know what I mean? Be at risk. And I was just conscious of that from the first day I did a rave or whatever, or cable and those things. I was like, I'm visible. I'll be on the floor, like, and talk to me if there's an issue. And yeah, I'll try. Even today, I'm still like that now, I guess. Yes, bro.
Yes. You've spoken a lot about community and ecosystems. And there's the slide about how the pandemic ultimately decimated communities and connections. With Elijah's crystal ball, what do you think? How do we rebuild, reclaim our communities? How do we build an ecosystem to sustain our culture and talent, and create a healthy environment for them to thrive and evolve?
Yeah, start small. For real talk. If you can get on with 2 people, like you're doing a lot in this day and age. It's hard to get on with like 2, 3 people, get ideas done out, share and make and create something. That alone has been like downplayed by like everyone trying to like solve racism, solve sexism, solve this and solve that. Like take it back to basics. Like when I see like bands play or like crews or whatever it's gonna be, it doesn't have to be 60 people. I think the community rebuild is actually, smaller groups bouncing off each other and respecting each other's space and collaborating and doing stuff together, not us all like where it's one super crew, 50 people, 100 people, whatever it is, like that's too hard. Like, and again, like what Boo was saying about, you know, accountability and all that stuff, it goes too wide. When it's, you know, in our little unit, there's like 5 people. So if I don't do something, it's my fault. Or if I do something, then it's my fault. And that starting point is an easy place to like link up with other people and create stuff. Like you see like a not responsible, but you see like a crew that are cool, and you're like, yeah, let's work together, let's do something. Or you see someone maybe what more works alone, and you can bring them in, and makes you a 6 or a 7, and then they go off and do their own thing. That's the beginnings of what probably should be rebuilt first. I don't think we can solve every societal problem or even try. Like the actual magic of like what we're doing is kind of like it's only us in this room right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like I could have made the thing free, but then someone would have just come and they were like, "What's this? Well, who's this? What's this? Why is it drawing crap?" Like, and it just gets weird. I think it's like so important to start with like 2, 3 like-minded people, or one like-minded person. Or like all it took was, I'll back that still, change man's life. Like, so we're doing a couple more, yeah. I'll come out and talk to everyone afterwards anyway, yeah.
Mala Elijah, what's good?
Yes, man.
Before I start, just I've been following you from the Butters blog days, of Rinse, Cable, Fabric. Like I've been following you for a long time, and to see you where you are now, it's a big deal. Even though you don't know me personally, I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
So my question, it's not really advice or anything like that, but with like carnival that's happened, and after every carnival, there's always someone on Twitter that always kind of brings up the point that carnival shouldn't really have like an electronic stage or a jungle stage there like represented. Like I know that Jamaica has a big like sound system culture that's influenced like the rave sound that's happening in London. But what is your opinion? How would you sort of voice that?
Those people like that are on Twitter doing that after that weekend that we just had. Like, come on. Mr. Mitch actually had a good tweet or something like this, and he said like, I don't want to butcher this. All music made by black people is black music, and I was like, yeah, sick. That's a good kind of infrastructure to work with. But in terms of carnival, obviously there's carnival traditions that will happen in the Caribbean, in Trinidad, Brazil, wherever. Carnival tradition in London, and it's got to grow with London. Like if there was no Amapiano at Carnival this year, fine, but why not? Like, why not embrace the city that we live in and like respect everyone's differences and like involve people? Like that is part of what, I don't know, like carnival, like in the literal definition of it is. It's like a celebration of many different things, and yeah, there's always going to be purists, always going to be someone that says that it shouldn't be. But when you look at the feedback, it was good. Like people enjoyed. So if you tweeted that in 2022, what did you tweet then in 1995 when Original Nutter was getting played? Like what would you have said then? Like no jungle, no garage at Carnival, no grime. It's just insane. Like yeah, that's kind of what I think of it. But I do agree with it being front and center when people have been educated and finding better mechanisms to educate people about the deep histories and the reasons that we're there and doing the thing, and actually platforming music that's not as mainstream. But you can't do all these things at the same time. And yeah. Okay.
Should I have one more?
How's everyone doing? One more, all right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, obviously you've worked with other people, you've like banded together with like-minded people for a shared vision. And I've got a couple projects I've like got my best friends involved to do stuff, like a couple of us. And it's getting to the point where we're starting to have to put faith in each other when that wouldn't be what we would have done as well. So my question is basically, and you've written about before, like pre-internet communities having a time limit on them because communities work on shared stuff and people outgrow that. So my question was, how do you balance putting your faith in other people, and because ultimately it's going to be bigger than you, what you're trying to create, that's always the goal. But how do you balance that with keeping true to something that you believe quite strongly is at the center and outpouring of yourself?
You blow my head off with that. I listened to Rick Rubin on Lex Friedman's podcast, and he said you should try every idea that gets raised in the studio, and then you decide afterwards. So you don't say, well, we're not going to do that idea because we're doing this one. You should just do both and see what kind of you want to stick with. And that even itself builds trust, confidence. Okay, I've got an idea for this, try it. I've got an idea for this, try it. Maybe we put out both versions. Maybe this idea becomes another song. Maybe this thing is like a completely different genre. It's got to be like tried first, like, and giving each other the confidence to be like, yes, add that crazy thing. Or if you describe something and you don't understand it, play it. If you're kind of describing like a vision for this project and the two people don't get it, give them all of the stuff that you're taking in. So a lot of the time with the artists I work with, I don't just say, do this thing like that. I'll be like, watch this documentary or watch that thing or listen to this podcast or the things that I'm taking in or like listen to this set by this DJ. Then they get where I'm coming from and they can kind of understand like what I'm describing. That's like some of these things you're gonna figure out uniquely, and it's gonna mean something completely different to you. It's your art, it's your emotions, and you're putting it out there in the world. So there isn't an answer, and it's you. Like you're gonna tell me this is how it worked out, and that's gonna be interesting in itself. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, rounding things off. I know we just had a lot of wisdom from you, but what would you like everyone to take away from today?
Just the thing, the idea that you're sitting on, just like do that thing first. The easiest thing, even if it's just like opening the pad, sketch pad, opening Ableton when you get home, make a banger, something. Just even if it's crap, it's just like just making it and just doing it and just sharing it afterwards. Even if it's just with your friend or whatever, just just don't hold these things in and just let it go and don't worry about the results. And the more you can kind of build confidence around that, like it just gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. So yeah, it's literally like close that, make the thing. That's me.